Hello everyone, welcome to yet another episode with Be Money Wiser. And today we're going to talk about an interesting topic. Most of us that are under the formal employment are familiar with this, and it's basically managing our side hustle. Now, we try to balance between our formal income and then the income that we get from our side businesses, and we kind of struggle to make the both sides balance and be successful. Let's listen to these experiences and see the pointers that we can get out of this to plan better and manage our side hustles much better. Let's listen in.
Hello, how are you? My name is Barbara Caroline Chiwanuka. I'm a risk manager by profession, and my side hustle is literally everything and anything that can bring me money in a nice, clean way. And because of that, I have involved myself in a lot of business over the last 10 years. I am under 40 years of age, which puts me at 30-something anyway. But most importantly, I started off right after campus and engaged in poultry breeding, specifically layers, because I had watched my parents make some money from it. And so I took a loan with Equity Bank, and I was very hopeful because I believed that I could make good money. But unfortunately, because I trusted the young man who had been taking care of poultry at home a lot and supervised him almost not at all, I lost quite a bit of money. Why? I was expecting an average of 3 trays a day, but at most I whipped a tray. Even then, the size of the eggs was anything but good. So it was very disappointing, and as a result, I ultimately pulled out because if it wasn't that the eggs weren't coming through, the chicken were dying. So feeding the chicken at some point stopped making sense, and that was the end of that business. And then I started on what I consider my passion, which is cooking, but specifically baking. I had been baking while at campus for friends' birthday parties on a small scale, and so I thought I would put it to the next level, and I started making cookies for colleagues at work and cakes, and it went on well. But as you can imagine, people didn't want to pay, and when they realize that they can get away with not paying you immediately, then they will push their luck until they really can't push it any further. With me, unfortunately, father never came, so I ended up expecting so many people to pay me back, but most of those who owed me just kept postponing the debt until it ran me out. What really broke the camel's back was when I made a cake for a very close friend, and he promised to pay me at the time 30,000, which right now is probably an average of 80 to 100,000. Unfortunately for me, all my flights to get that money back never came to yield any fruit, and so with disappointment I gave up on baking as well. So in all this, I've taken some lessons with me, and as far as trusting people is concerned, I've realized that in business there's no room to lie back and just relax. If you want money, you have to be serious about being involved and getting your hands dirty. So you need to supervise, and that's something that I've taken with me. You cannot afford to go above without knowing what's happening on the ground. Even though you trust people, you have to come up with standard ways of operating. You have to tell people, have certain clauses in place. Whether you tell people these things or not, you can say, for example, that if you are baking a cake, if someone doesn't make a deposit, then you will not take up the order, because there's got to be a demonstration of commitment to take up the order in the long run. And so that's something I took up. But as well, when you have people who owe you money, there's no point in giving them more debt before they clear the first one. So for the cookies, had I actually expected my customers to first pay up before they get more cookies, perhaps I'll still be in the running and the business would have grown. But anyway, all these are lessons that we learn as we go along, and I can say they've made me a better businesswoman.
All right, welcome back. Like you've listened to these experiences, oh my, it's not that easy. There are a number of challenges that we face as we try to manage our side hustles alongside our formal employment.
Like we all know, being employed sometimes will never give you enough. So it's wise, it's always wise for you to get something aside that can give you some extra income.
Yes.
But then sometimes you try to earn an extra income and you lose both. You're not able to deliver at your job, and again you're not even able to earn from the side hustle that you have started with. So what should you do to make sure that you earn from the side hustle, Alex?
It's never easy to have enough capital to begin. One of the things you need to know in terms of the costs, note down and know how much will I need for at least 18 months, so that when you start your side hustle, you can live up to 2 years. That is very much important. 2, if it's possible, embrace the technology. Go to blogs, do recordings, do clips, use social media to market your product so that it does not take away the time you would use to deliver at your workplace.
When trying to be physically present, you use these other methods.
So try to balance your time very well so that you do not be selfish, to use the time that is meant for your work to do your side hustle.
The biggest challenge with side hustles for a few people that I've been able to interact with is management of such kind of hustles. You find that the fact that you're not available to manage your own business, you're bringing in people to manage your business. Looking at Carol's story, she's bringing in someone that they recommended will be able to look after the chicken. But after, she doesn't know where the eggs are going, she's not getting what exactly she expected. So it's so much about the people that we are putting in charge of our businesses. Will they be trustworthy that they will really do report exactly what we are getting? And that brings us to why someone needs to have systems in place to manage such kind of businesses. Alex?
And even before systems, there's what we talk about stewardship. The Bible typically talks about it. Be a good employer, be a good employee, be accountable to your boss. You may steal your boss and thinking that what you are going to take will help you, and it doesn't last even 1 month. 2, you need to monitor your business. Whichever business you do, put in place systems that can help you to track the income that comes in, to track the expense that goes out. Also ask expertise. You don't just go into poultry, you not ask people. By the way, if I have 100 in terms of the birds, how much will I need in terms of food, in terms of expenses, in terms of salt, in terms of feeding, so that at least if someone tells you I've spent 1 million, you know this is way beyond. Are you understanding? Sometimes we heartedly go into a business that we have zero research, zero understanding, zero knowledge.
I think it's also wise to understand the kind of business that you're going to invest in, because I don't know how you're going to hold, for example, your workers accountable if you don't know what exactly goes on in such kind of business. How does that kind of business pay? So you need to have the kind of knowledge that will help you to hold your workers accountable and know what exactly goes on.
And you see, at the end of it all, much as we have our formal employment, we also need to create time for our side hustles. Like you can hear in the background, there is music. People are starting a different activity at this time of the day. Most of us, our days end at 5, you go home, sleep. But at 5, other people's days are starting. They are looking at, how can I go and see what happened today? Let me go and see the sales they made today. Let me go and see how they manage this or that in my business. Use your extra time to manage your side hustle. Use the weekends. Most of us just relax at the beach over the weekend because I've worked the whole week. Now it's time for me to relax. Friday night I'm going out. Other guys are maximizing every extra time to make sure you go and check on your business or whatever venture you're into, so as to see that it's also operating as effectively as possible.
Are you managing your side hustle wiser? Is the question that you should ask yourself. Get onto our social media platforms, share with us how you're successfully managing your side hustle. What are some of the challenges that you're facing and how are you able to overcome them? Also comment on all our other episodes, ask questions and share with us all the experiences that you've had with money. We hope that these Be Money Wiser episodes are helping you to improve and transform your lives. See you next time. Be Money Wiser.